Been told to abandon their homes when the floodwaters poured through the streets this morning after torrential downpours.
It got above the electric sockets and they started illuminating, shall we say, so we switched that off. We have a gas-fired auger and that expired as well, so we turned the gas off to that. So we'll just have to see what we can retrieve when it subsides a bit. Really.
How deep is it in the property at the moment?
About that deep.
Thigh high?
Yeah. Yes. It's come up very quickly actually in these last few minutes. Because
I wanted to say, if there's any people in the village, it's absolutely devastating being down here, but don't risk coming down, please. There isn't much you can do now and it's just getting a little bit more dangerous.
They are going around several of the surrounding streets now and asking people to move out, and you're asking people to follow that advice.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you are asked to move out, as devastating as it is, you've got to think of, life first and then furniture and etc. afterwards.
Local residents said the flood siren went off at around 7 this morning. Just 10 minutes later, everything started flooding. The army has been drafted in to help people shore up their defences as they battle to sandbag their homes.
I've just barricaded the back door now because it's coming right up the side of the shop to the back door, so I've just barricaded the back door. But we're just trying our best. We've gone inside now and we're working inside, just trying to keep it out the shop the best we can. Our friend lives just on the corner and it's up to her windowsills in a house and it's just awful for her. It's just terrible. Christmas pyjamas and my Christmas socks are ruined.
A lot of us are from the Northwest with the Northwest Infantry Regiment, and for them to come out here and do this sort of thing, get face to face and help people has been humbling actually. The scenes that we've seen over the last 2 weeks and that we're seeing now, the guys just want to get in there and do as much as they can. They don't care about sleep, they don't care about anything when they're helping people like they are here.
In Ribchester on the River Ribble, the water has reached people's homes, the streets flooded, rendering the defences pretty useless in some places. And the flooding has spread into West Yorkshire as well. It's severe there. This is the scene in Todmorden in West Yorkshire, up at the end of the Calderdale Valley. And this the scene in Ilkley, roads in and out of the town closed. It's effectively been cut off for a while today. Towns of Hebden Bridge and Sowerby Bridge in Yorkshire blocked as the river ploughs into people's homes in the surrounding area.
We've had people out right through the Christmas period reacting to the heavy rainfall that we've seen. I mean, here in Ribchester, obviously the rivers are considering to rise. We're seeing now record-breaking river levels right across Lancashire, and rain continuing through this afternoon. But we all keep doing everything we can to minimise the impacts where possible. It's predominantly rainwater. What we're seeing though is that the ground is so saturated. Any water that's forming, it can't go into the ground. Indeed, the pressure is actually causing it to fight the ground. So it's a bit of a combination, to be honest. But continued wet weather, we're really urging people to take care right across the north.
Two of the worst hit villages this afternoon. In a moment, speaking to Tom Parmenter in Ribchester. First, let's head to Whalley. Fraser Maud's been there all day, and Fraser, we've watched the water levels rising as you've reported throughout the course of the day.
Absolutely. To give you an idea of how quickly they're rising, I was stood here exactly an hour ago talking to you. I was on a road with no water, and now, as you can see, it's getting up to above ankle deep and calf deep almost where I'm standing. So that's the rate at which the water is rising here. We're expecting to see a peak of the level sometime in the next couple of hours, although that seems to be a bit of a movable feast, the decision as to when we're going to get a peak level. Some people initially said it was going to be 12 o'clock, then I've heard 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Everyone seems to be thinking it's at a different time. Lancashire Fire and Rescue here, they're getting the boat prepared in case they need to do any more evacuations. And we can have a chat, I'm hoping, with our local estate agent. I'm just going to nip under this barrier here and further into the water. John, are you okay for a quick chat? It's a bit dangerous walking through these floodwaters. You're not quite sure where the curb is, but you're getting all your computers, all your equipment out of the way now.
Yeah, we can't do any more really. We're about 6 inches off the top of the step there. So we're just hoping that obviously it doesn't go any further, but it's looking like it will.
Have you ever seen it as bad as this before?
No, never as bad as this.
I mean, there was a flood a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
that came from the top. I know it was coming down, obviously, from the top of the culvert there, over the top there. But obviously, it's coming from the river, and it's backing up, and it's coming every way now. So it's only a matter of time, I think, before we will be underwater, unfortunately.
What are you being told about the potential peak time for this?
Well, we've heard about lunchtime, any time now. But,
yeah, it's high tide round about now, isn't it?
So yes, yeah. But it's still rising. So whether it's coming downstream and the floodplains aren't taking it, I think that's the problem, to be honest. The floodplains aren't taking the excess of water.
Do you think that the emergency response has been adequate this time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
First class. They've been absolutely first class. They couldn't do any more. I mean, there's very little they can do, obviously, with the water. We just hope it's going to stop raining soon.
2 weeks ago, it was a culvert that had blocked up, so the services weren't about. But today, obviously, we had a warning. I got a text message at 3 o'clock this morning warning me from the Environment Agency. I was so pleased about that. Didn't know anything about it, unfortunately. But
at least you've had a bit of time to get here first thing and crack on.
Absolutely, yeah. We're prepared as best we can, really. Yeah.
I've never seen 5 dinghies sail down King Street in Whalley before.
Waterfront properties. Look, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's good to see that you're still smiling despite all of this. But as you say, the water is still rising. We can see the force that it's coming up. We can see as far as that a car down there which has been gradually getting more and more swamped as the day has gone on, and water coming up from a storm drain there, absolutely forcing through at an incredible rate of knots. And the rain now just getting a little bit heavier. We thought we were getting a bit of respite. That doesn't seem to be happening. It's coming through in waves now. The weather, hopefully, it's going to ease off, as we've been told by the Met Office, later on this afternoon, and that will give a little bit of respite. But there's still an awful lot of water to come down from the surrounding hills. So a lot of fingers crossed here in Whalley at the moment. People preparing for the worst, still fearing that it's preparing for the worst and hoping, obviously, for the best.
Fraser, thanks very much indeed. Well, the Lancashire River Calder is a tributary of the Ribble, and it is 10 miles to the west of Fraser that we find Tom Parmenter on the Ribble at Ribchester, and a pretty grim scene there as well, Tom.
It is very similar to what Fraser was describing, a community pulling together on Boxing Day, trying to help each other out, pitching in, offering cups of tea, offering accommodation if people need to leave their homes. Some people have been advised to leave, some people have chosen to stay. This is the Ribchester Arms that at this time of day on a Boxing Day should be packed with lunchtime diners. Instead, it is empty, it is flooded. You can see up in the corner there a stocking hung up for Christmas, but yes, they had Christmas here yesterday, but Boxing Day is one they'll certainly remember. This river has just raced up over the last 24 hours or so. You can see some vehicles left in the pub car park, perhaps from Christmas Day, people choosing not to drive home, perhaps regretting that decision now. And then just to the foreground here, you can see the blue tarpaulin just in front of the bus stop, some of the metal barriers. That was some of the flood defences that were here. And of course, they have just been wiped out. There are other flood defences that have been put in overnight. 11 o'clock last night on Christmas night, they were here trying to make sure that they could get those defences in if possible. We're just going to step back 10 yards or so as they're trying to get some of the equipment in to get a boat team from the Fire and Rescue Service able to be waterborne so that they can get out onto the River Ribble and the surrounding inland sea that they now have here to try to make sure that if anyone does still need rescuing, that they can get them out using a boat. And a boat is the only way to get to many of the properties that are surrounding this part of the River Ribble. It is just a mass of water that expands out. People saying they've not seen anything like this in perhaps 30 years or so. And as I say, the ongoing emergency operation is still in full flow. The Environment Agency down here in force, and they've told us this lunchtime that they're now recording record river levels in Lancashire. That is an indication of the amount of water that's trying to filter through the waterways of Lancashire and also West Yorkshire, as we've been hearing as well, and also southern parts of Cumbria hit by this latest rain. Not much wind around, so the rain is just stopping across this part of the northwest of England, and effectively people are having to try and wait it out. You can see the Environment Agency now bringing in on this lorry big bags of sandbags being dropped into Ribchester to try and protect the properties as much as possible. Some of the residents here have been saying, look, we haven't got enough sandbags. Well, that has been remedied. You can see the latest batch arriving now this lunchtime. This is, of course, Boxing Day. Many people drafted in from the emergency services, drafted in from the Environment Agency to try and help if at all possible. And this is the response happening right now. More firefighters arriving just up the lane here with fire equipment to try to make sure that anyone who is in a position where they need to be rescued can have that happen. And as I say, the only way to get to them is by boat, and the emergency services operation still very much ongoing.
Tom, thanks.